This is a video for Iron Man movie series Mark II armor. Basically, armor 20 got back when he built when he got back to civilization, and it is essentially the Mark III armor, just silver. It's got some little painted on rivets on his chest to make him look a little bit more low tech. But I haven't had a chance to really get next to each other and compare. But I'm pretty sure this is just the same mold as the Mark III, painted silver, and instead of red and gold. It does come. He's got all the standard articulation, arms up, hinged, elbows, rotatable wrists here on this one. For the hands. The head can move. Head has a little bit more of a range of up and down motion on the Mark II, Mark III mold than it does on the 4 and the 6 mold. So overall, one drawback here is that these shoulder panels do pop off. They're on pretty solidly, but if you raise the arm up too much, the shoulder panels can kind of fly off and fly across the room. I've only had it a couple of times because once it happened I was a little bit more wary of keeping an eye out for it. But one minor drawback to the figure. Overall, I think these figures are pretty decent. There have been some issues with the hip joints, especially getting frozen in place with paint. But putting them in some warm water, some hot water, drying them off, and then throwing them in the freezer for a few minutes, pulling them out, letting them room back up to room temperature seems to crack a lot of those paint issues and let the ball joints move a little freer. I thankfully have not gotten quite to that point with any of mine. My Mark VI had some hip problems, and just pouring a little bit of warm water on them unfroze those right up. So I haven't had any serious issues with the joints, but just be aware that is an issue going out there. Some people reported, and I've had a couple of mine, just the way they're packaged, these knees will bend in and out and kind of make him look a little knock-kneed. You can kind of see a little bit of it here on his left leg. But again, you want to warm up the plastic with like a hair dryer or some warm water, and then just kind of bend it to where you want it, and then run some cold water over it. Will generally fix that issue. Run some cold water over it while you're holding it in the position you want it to keep. Generally fixes that issue. The paint, again, always check the figures in the package for paint, because I've managed to find good ones, but I've had to go through several to do it of each version, because you'll find a lot with chipped paint, scratched paint, globs of paint where they shouldn't be. So it really pays to be a little vigilant when you're first picking out the figures, because you don't want to get home and realize, oh, my Iron Man's got a giant blob of red paint there on his face that he shouldn't. I mean, the face is, I guess, fairly obvious, but yeah, do give him a pretty good once-over in the box. I mean, you can't see it on the back, but the backs have generally not had any issues from what I've seen. It's mostly stuff just splattering kind of down the front of the figures, or coming off the front of the figures, or getting scratched off, etc. So they're not perfect, but for a 3 3/4 inch line, they're not bad. They definitely look good together all on the shelf. I've got the 1 through 6 now. Mark 1 through 6 in the movie, as well as Ironmonger and War Machine. So, and the comic versions of Iron Man and War Machine. So they're pretty good little figures. I would like to see them a little cheaper. I think $7 is a little bit too high of a price to pay for these. But they're decent enough figures that it's worth that they're kind of evens out there. Anyway, there he is, the Mark II movie series Iron Man.